Well, hello and welcome to a mini training called Science in the Preschool Classroom. My name is Cheryl Hatch. I'm the owner and creator of Preschool Planet and Preschool Cubby. And I wanted to put this training together because I get a lot of emails asking about how to incorporate science in the classroom. And there are a couple ways you can do it. You can have a science interest center that might be where you carry out some formal science activities. But science typically is going to happen throughout your classroom and sometimes pretty organically, not even in a planned way. Um, so science skill development, it is a critical part of each of your preschoolers' growth and development. And we hear a lot about this when we're reading any books or articles about STEM or any other articles when it comes to science and math in the preschool classroom. And you're most likely providing more science in your classroom than you even realize. And that's the main reason I wanted to put this little training together, was for you to see the different things you may already be doing or that may already be happening in your classroom. But let's go over some other things. We don't need to be facilitating or controlling each part of an experiment for it to be considered real science. By all means, do science experiments. Kids love being part of a science experiment where you step by step take them through a change in a process. But just because you're not doing that every day doesn't mean science isn't happening. For something to be considered real science, in my opinion, it should be active, it should be hands on. In other words, it should be a verb. It should be something your children are part of, not something that you're telling them about, but something that they're participating in while you're asking them those "I wonder what would happen if" type questions. So the experience for the children should be through exploration, through investigation, using all of their senses. So to recap, again, you don't need to facilitate a formal science activity for something to be considered real science. It's hands-on for the children and hands-off for us. But let's go over the 7 main science process skills that preschoolers develop. There's inferring, and that's where they're going to maybe take some past experience that they've had and apply it to a current activity that you're doing. So they're taking something that they've seen before, maybe in your classroom or maybe at home, and saying, oh, I think this is going to happen because of a past experience. There's observing, that's a science process skill, classifying, communicating, predicting, which is similar to inferring, but predicting is typically making, if you want to call it a guess, it's not really a guess. It's basically when they are taking the information that's in front of them and making a prediction of what's going to happen. When they infer, it's a little different because they're taking information they already have from a past experience and applying it to what's in front of them. So they're similar, but a little bit different. Comparing is another skill, and measuring. So, and you'll notice I have an asterisk or a star next to classifying, comparing, and measuring, because these are also math process skills. Math and science are so interrelated and overlap quite a bit. And if you look at these skills again, they're active words, they're not passive words. So the development of science skills in preschool, as we said, doesn't only happen when you're facilitating a formal experiment. Science happens informally and formally throughout your classroom. Each of the skills meet common frameworks that most states or countries have developed for science, which we're going to go over 4 of those in a moment. Because I've used those common frameworks that you typically see in the development of my own Preschool Planet standards. And these are the standards that I use for the themes that I send you on the first of each month if you're a free club member, and within every theme if you're a Preschool Cubby member. So if you're a free club member, this is how you'll see the standards listed in the activities I send you. So for example, this was from October, from this month, and it was the colors theme. And right here, you'll notice there were numbers after here. These are all of the standards that this activity may help your children develop. And I list these at the end of each of the activities. If you're a Preschool Cubby member, you'll see that they're listed under the science column for each day of the week for the science activity. That's in the weekly planning form, and on the daily planning form in Preschool Cubby, you also see it listed next to the science activity. Now, these are the preschool standards. You'll find this as a free club member. You'll find this in the packet that I send you on the first of each month, which lays out each area of development, and these are my standards that I use with the activities I send you. Specifically, I want to talk about these 4. These are the science standards that I've developed. So the first one is developing observation and inquiry skills, using their senses and tools, including technology, to gather and investigate information. Now, this is going to happen during activities in your classroom with items from nature. You might put some items on display at a discovery table. Journals, if you just get some construction paper and plain paper, staple it together, let the children write their name as best they can on it, and they can draw observations that they see from maybe these items from nature or other activities that you do throughout the week. They happen when you give them magnifying glasses and they can look at something very closely. From video clips, a lot of times you may not use video or any type of technology like that in your classroom. I remember one time we were talking about when I was in Nebraska, there's a great zoo out there and they have a rainforest room. And they had these two sloths, which if you know anything about me, I love sloths. I think they're just amazing. So we had a little video clip of them from the Henry Dorley Zoo that we showed the preschoolers because they were talking about going to the zoo this one day. And we watched a 10-minute video clip of these sloths climbing a branch. It took them 10 minutes to climb a branch. So we talked about why it takes them so long, but it was amazing to them to watch this video clip because it was related to something that we had been talking about. But that's one of the ways that they're using their senses. They're using their sense of sight. Maybe they will talk about how that rainforest room at the zoo smelled when they went there. The senses really get involved in a lot of science. The second skill that I've listed is they make predictions and inferences about changes in materials. You might see this happen in your classroom when they're coloring water. This could be as simple as you have paint out at the art table and they're painting and they rinse their brush after they've used, let's say, red. Then they start using some yellow and they rinse the brush again and realize the water just turned orange. There's some predictions and inferences. Now they can say, well, I'm going to use green. I wonder what color the water will turn now. That's not a formal science experiment. However, it's some serious science going on for your children. Also, when they're mixing paint, I know sometimes you hate when they mix the paint, especially at the easel, but some days go for it. Just have some paint out and be okay with them mixing it. It's not always about the outcome, right? It's more about the process, not the product. So if the process is mixing paint to see what happens, that's how they're going to figure this out. As they get older, they won't like the paint mixed either. But for now, at 3 and early 4s, they're exploring, they're investigating. So let them go for it. Mixing Play-Doh. Here's another one, right? We hate to have the Play-Doh mixed together. Oh my gosh, don't mix the red with the green. If you can, have 2 sets. I recommend having 2 sets of Play-Doh. Have one set out that the kids who don't mix Play-Doh are going to use, and the kids that are in mixing mode, just give them this Play-Doh and let them mix it together and see what happens. Watching that change hands-on by just using it and mixing it together is amazing for them. Anytime you use vinegar and baking soda, oh my gosh, that is, I mean, just having that out, you don't even have to have anything formal. Like I know a lot of teachers will take Play-Doh and have them make little volcano shapes or other little shapes and see what happens when they put vinegar and baking soda in it. Just have some baking soda and vinegar and let them use little spoons and pipettes to just play and see what happens. It's amazing. Sink and float activities. Now you can do a formal sink or float, like I wonder, will this pumpkin sink or will it float? Will this penny sink or will it float? You could facilitate it in that way, or just watch the kids when they're at your water table. It's so funny to watch them and they drop something by accident, and they are amazed that it sunk because they thought it would float. Then they're going to go to the classroom and get something else. Maybe they're going to go get a pom-pom from the art table and drop it in the water table and see what happens. That's an organic, informal science activity happening right in front of you. The third skill that I have listed on my standards are communicates and documents information gathered using a variety of methods: drawing, maps, graphs, charts, and through discussion. That sounds like a lot of planning, doesn't it? But it happens much more organically than you'd think. So let's look at a few of those. This may happen when they're drawing their predictions in journals. So you might have something out there where you're going to ask them, I wonder what would happen if, we add baking soda to this container of vinegar. They may draw what they saw happen. Creating a map, just give them some paper and a clipboard. My kids love clipboards. We constantly are buying those. I love the dollar store because I can find clipboards throughout the year. Just give them a clipboard, some paper, and something to write with. They'll draw a map of the playground, a map of the classroom, a map of how to get to the bathroom. They love drawing maps. Um, Graphing favorite dinosaurs. If they're really into dinosaurs, you decide to do a theme on dinosaurs, just create a graph for it. Let them list which one is their favorite one, or which color dinosaur is their favorite color dinosaur. And charts as well. You could do charts of their favorite things or their likes or dislikes of food. If you're talking about apples because you just went apple picking, let them put on a chart a smiley face next to their name under like or doesn't like for each type of apple. That can happen pretty informally just by sitting at snack time trying and tasting some apples. And then discussions in large group throughout the day. Again, this may just happen, they may be at the block center and they may be talking about apples, using that example, and their discussion may be, well, this apple is smaller. I wonder if it will roll down this ramp faster or slower. So that can be really informal when you have discussions going on throughout the day. And then the final standard that I have is developing knowledge of science concepts through exploration of the different types of sciences. So there's life science, physical science, earth and environmental science, and technology science. How do you plan all that in your classroom? Well, sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes it will happen just from the materials that you provide throughout the week and the month and the year. So it might happen for life science. You might be planting seeds or growing flowers or just going out for a nature walk to see. Right now in New England, the leaves are getting ready to change color. So we can take a walk every week and just check out the changes that are happening around us. For physical science, that's the use of magnets, building ramps with blocks. These are things you don't necessarily have to plan, but you can encourage in the different interest centers in your classroom. Earth science, you might do a study on rocks. Our kids were really into rocks. We had some gravel put in at the end of a driveway, and they were really fascinated with the rocks. So we took a handful of them and we brought them in the discovery table and ended up doing an entire study and theme on rocks. You might compare different water if you're talking about the ocean. Maybe look at some water that you collect from the ocean and some water you collect from the pond, and maybe grab some water from the faucet, from the sink, and look at the different types of water. Do they look different? Are they cloudier? Are they clearer? What's different about them? Or learning about the stars and planets. I mean, that's complete earth science right there, right? When they're really into learning about the earth and the moon. Environmental science, that would be recycling. It doesn't even have to be formal. Sure, you could do a formal recycling theme or just recycle items from snack time. What are the things that can go in a recycling bin? What are things that cannot? Technology science, this is one of my favorites, is a take apart. If you have old toys like battery operated toys or radios or VCRs or DVD players, bring them in with screwdrivers and hammers and yes, some extra adult help, and let's take them apart and check it out and see what makes things tick. So did you recognize any of those activities? And did you think to yourself, hey, I've done that with my kids? Yeah, that's because you are doing more science than you realize in your classroom. It's happening. So give yourself a little bit of a break and know that science is not as scary as you may think, and it's happening all the time. And I want to continue to help you develop those skills. That's why I include 3, sometimes more science activities in every weekly theme that I create. So the themes that I send you in the first of the month always have at least 3 science activities. So let's take a look at it, the science activities from this month. So this month, on the 1st of October, you received the colors theme. And here are 3 of the science activities that were in your theme. There was coffee filter color changes. This is super fun. Our kids love this. You could do this all day long, every day. The kids would probably love it. They basically just color with washable markers on your coffee filter, the white coffee filters, and then spray them with water. Just watching the colors mix and change is amazing, and they will want to do this all day long. So they dry very quickly. So the other thing I have here is make sure you print their name or have them print their name with a ballpoint pen, because if you write their name in marker, yeah, it's going to spread once you spray the water on it. But here at the end is what I wanted to bring up. See right here? These are the standards that this activity helps your children develop. The ones that are in red, those are 2 of the science skills. Color squishing. Just get shaving cream, food coloring, and the Ziploc type baggies. Just let the kids drop some shaving cream and food coloring in, zip it up, and squish it up. It's that simple. They can do this on their own and with very minimal formal explanation from you. And look at all these skills that can help your children develop. preschool colors theme scientist. This is one of my favorite. I have this in a lot of themes because it's just fun. Just put clear cups out, put water in each cup, give them pipettes in an empty cup, and let them just mix colors and see what new colors they'll come up with. And again, here are all the skills that they'll develop, and the two in red are the science skills. So it's pretty simple, right? And like I said earlier, these are all hands-on. These are things the kids are involved in. They're going to learn more and own it more when they're involved in the creation of it. So you could just set these things out and just let them explore it. There's no need to be formal. Keep your science planning and your themes and topics as a priority. Just think about, what are they really into? Maybe they're really into colors. I'm going to put some clear cups with colored water in it for them this week. It's just super important to be able to let them have activities that are hands-on for them. So if you'd like more help in planning science activities each week, as well as math, art, circle time, and all that, you'll have all that help inside of Preschool Cubby. Preschool Cubby is my new monthly program that I'm sure you've heard about. I'm in the middle of launching it, so you probably received several emails the past week about it. But you also receive math activities, art, and circle time activities that also include some math and science in your monthly theme each month. But if you're looking for more themes, I wanted to just go over this membership program with you very quickly. It'll take about 2 minutes. So you receive, instead of the one theme that I send you each month in Preschool Cubby, you get to choose the themes that you want. Right now there's over 80 themes in there. So you get to choose 4 themes each month. And they're organized into a weekly planning form. So all of the activities each day of the week for math, science, they're all organized for you. And there's also a daily planning form that's not included in the free club. This is in the Preschool Cubby membership program. So for example, here's one for Monday. It tells you everything that you'll need for the week, and then the details on how to carry out each activity. Circle time, art, math, here's the science one, music and movement. And as I said, there are over 80 themes right now, and I add 2 to 4 new themes each month. And I try to base it on suggestions I get from Preschool Cubby members, topics that their kids are really interested in. I'll put that on my list of activities and themes to create for the coming school year. In addition, if you sign up for Preschool Cubby before Wednesday night, which is October 4th, right now I'm offering it at very low pricing. And the pricing is going up on the 5th when I start sending this out publicly as a public program. Right now for you guys, it's still at a much lower price, and you get some bonuses. When you sign up, you'll find a grandparents theme. Now, Grandparents Day was in September, and a lot of teachers like to do a grandparents tea sometime in October, sometimes in September, but also in October. So this is a little mini theme. It has 3 days worth of activities to help you put together some type of a grandparents themed program. There's also a Thanksgiving theme that's a full week theme bonus that you would get, and a Christmas theme that would be included when you sign up for Preschool Cubby. In addition, I have some other ebooks that are bonuses for Preschool Cubby members. One of them is 20 preschool math games. So these have all the different activities that you would need to print, laminate, and use with your kids throughout the year. You can download those. There, I have ABC and 1, 2, 3 Play-Doh mats. I love Play-Doh. I love, love, love Play-Doh. I make it every week. There's just always a new batch going. And so these are Play-Doh mats that have the uppercase and the lowercase letters, as well as the numbers 1 through 30, where you can have them out, laminate them, and the kids can roll Play-Doh and squish it into the letters. It's great for letter formation and letter recognition. In addition, speaking of Play-Doh, I have a ton of Play-Doh recipes. As I said, I love Play-Doh. I do include one in your free theme that you receive every month, but I also have one in every single theme that I create. So this is actually an ebook with all of my favorite Play-Doh recipes, and they're in printable recipe cards, so you can print, laminate them, and keep them and use them throughout the year. The other parts of Preschool Cubby is that you would have access to a teacher's lounge where you can talk with hundreds of other teachers and share ideas. Right now we're in the process of introducing ourselves. We have some ideas for themes and planning that they're sharing, some interest center. Oh my gosh, there was a great interest center somebody did. It was called, I think it was the My Body, All About My Body theme. And what she did was she actually had set up an entire eye doctor dramatic play center. It was pretty amazing. So she shared what she did there with everyone in here. Also on behavior guidance, there's a section here on special needs. So anything that you need support on or have ideas for, you can share with hundreds of other teachers. And then also coming this month in October, I'm going to be adding once a month, I'm going to be adding a video training. It'll be about 1 hour. There'll be one on circle time. There'll be another one that's a little more detailed on science. It will have a certificate of attendance that you'll be able to download once you're done watching the video. I don't know if it will qualify for in-service training for your state. That would all depend on if your state um, accepts online training as part of your in-service. These are not submitted to the individual states for pre-approval, so it would be up to you to find out ahead of time if it's covered. But if it doesn't cover you for your in-service, it's definitely going to be valuable to you to help you grow in the field. So Preschool Cubby is my monthly membership. I think it will save you hours each week. I created it because of all the hours myself and my team were spending every single month trying, or every single week. It's 2 to 3 hours on Sunday night, right? I want my Sunday night back. I want to spend it with family and friends, and I want you to be able to do the same. So these bonuses and the special pricing, it does end this Wednesday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can click the link that's below this video and to learn more about it and see if it's right for your program. It's certainly not right for everyone, but if it is, now would be the time to get in before the price goes up on Thursday. So just click that link and you'll learn more about it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit reply to this email and let me know what your questions are, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So I hope you found this preschool science training helpful and realize that you are doing so much science in your classroom without even knowing that you're doing it. And hopefully you have some ideas now on different things that you can add to your classroom over the next couple of weeks to encourage even more science learning. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.